Hey guys, this is Coach Greg from BRX Performance. Today, I'm going to be taking you through kind of our thought process behind the structure of our in-season training, as well as taking you through a little bit of a mock training session that we would typically have an athlete do in season. So a common theme among people training in season, while yes, the frequency is going to be down a little bit, but you're not necessarily going to be in a maintenance phase. You can still develop strength, power, and speed in season as long as the workouts are structured in a way that you're stimulating and getting everything out of the workouts that you want and not annihilating and completely depleting the nervous system. Soreness in season doesn't mean that it's going to take away from your performance. If it's something that you're constantly thinking about or worrying about, then yes, that is mostly going to come from your thought process behind soreness. But scientifically, soreness is not going to take away from you performing at your highest level. So the structure of in-season training sessions, the goal will be to get 3 total sessions in a week, and each week can look a little bit different depending on what days you're doing the specific training sessions. So you can have Monday, Wednesday, Friday be the days that you're training for 1 week, Monday being a full body day, Wednesday being another full body day, each having an upper focus and a lower focus, and then Friday being a CNS prep or a neural charge day where you're getting a 30-minute training session in. You're going to be throwing med balls at max intent, doing some type of jumps, just something to get the heart rate up so that it's almost like an extended warm-up to get you ready for that game if you're doing it on the game day or the day before game day. And again, the structure each week can look a little bit different. So if 1 week you have less frequent games, let's say 2, you can kind of structure and plan out the week based off of that, as well as weeks where you're bombarded with a ton of games. You can kind of move around the sessions based off of 1, games, and 2, how you're feeling. If you're adjusting based off of how you're feeling and the amount of games that you have, that's when you're going to get the most consistent schedule and the most out of your training. So an important thing to think about when structuring your training sessions during the season is to keep the intensity high and the volume down. The intensity being high, meaning you can still touch a good amount of weight in season, still trying to move it fast, still trying to put a good amount of weight on the bar, but also dropping the volume and, again, not completely annihilating our nervous system. The main thing is the games. As long as we're getting our training sessions in to supplement the games and make us feel good for the games, we can still get everything out of the training sessions that we want, developing our strength, speed, and power throughout the season. So a typical week of sprint work can look like 1 acceleration day and 1 max velocity day, or kind of combining the 2 of them, because within game, you're not going to be reaching top end speed every game or every practice that you're playing. So doing 2 to 3 sprints of 20-yard acceleration sprints and 2 to 3 sprints of flying 10s or some type of build-up sprint where you're reaching top speed for a certain amount of distance. And these sprint days can be anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week, again, depending on how many games you're playing, how fatigued you are, and overall how you're feeling. So the layout of a typical training day can be the first being strength and power movement, whether that be upper body or lower body, depending on the focus for that day, and then some specific mobility and core movement, as well as another block focused on some resilience sites that are important for baseball players, such as hips, spine, shoulder, and then scap stabilizers. So you want the training sessions to be structured to where you're limiting the total amount of garbage volume, but you can still get in things like arm farm within the season, just making sure that a bulk of the work that you're doing is specifically focused on what you're trying to get out of it. So the first block will be a trap bar deadlift supersetted with 2-step approach to vertical jump. This block is mainly focused on getting in some strength work as well as some explosive power work. So with this next block, we're going to be supersetting pull-ups with a cable rotational chop. With the pull-ups, go ahead and load it up. We still want the intensity to be high, even though that the volume's low. So go ahead and add weight to that. So this last block is going to be a single leg landmine RDL supersetted with a bear crawl. We're only going to be doing 2 sets total on this one. Simple and efficient lift, get in and get out, especially that the volume's down. Make sure the intensity stays high, so don't be afraid to touch some weight in season. If you guys try out this workout, let us know how it goes in the comments.